right, right there.
This might be for Harriet and yourself. I was curious, what medieval Arthurian texts were in Robert Jordan's library?
Harriet, which medieval Arthurian texts were in his library?
Well, his library was somewhere between 10 and 15,000 books. Downstairs, near his desk, he did not really have Arthurian. He had a lot of mythology. Books on religion, Asimov's Guide to the Bible, Norse, did I say Norse? Greek. You may be aware he once wrote a book about the Cheyenne Indians. That was the name was Jackson O'Reilly. And after a long time, I said, you know, poor old Jackson, he hasn't had any work in a long time. But it was about the Cheyenne Indians losing the corn, which they did. They were farming people, and they kept getting beat up and robbed by their warlike neighbors, and I've forgotten who the neighbors were, and they kept moving, and they were never left at peace, and so they sat down and said, okay, this is it. We are now going to be the meanest son of a bitch warriors you have ever seen, because that's the only thing the world will let us do, and they did. And that's all in that book. Does this suggest anybody else? The Aiel, of course. So his influences were global, really, not just Arthurian, and I can't think of peculiarly Arthurian stuff.
Did he read them more?
He must have, but I don't remember seeing a copy of it. It might have been in there next to his college physics textbooks. He was an omnivore.
Yeah, he had almost as many books as he had weapons. No, I think he had way more books, but he had a lot of weapons that he would try and work out so he could describe things accurately. It was wonderful to see his armor in his library. All right, let's do a couple more questions. Let's do someone over here in the way back. Yes, you, go for it. Yeah, we will. We'll do the book signing very shortly, and we'll let you come up to the front because you're getting it for your son. You said such nice things. Okay. So when we call people for the book signing, everyone knows you can come up to the front. All right. All right. Let's do another question. Okay, right here.
Short one. Is there any history of the term blood and bloody ashes?
Is there any history of the term blood and bloody ashes? Harriet?
No.
All right. All right. Let's go right here.
You were mentioning his college physics textbooks. One of the things that's always bugged me, in his notes, does he work out things like conservation laws? Because the whole system has to have something in it there, but man, I can't figure it out.
Did Robert Jordan work with the law of conservation of energy? Harry, do you want me to talk about this, or do you? Okay. From what I've seen, he considered it, certainly, and the power that is doing a lot of these things is coming from somewhere. As you'll recall, the original way they discovered the Dark One was because they discovered another source of energy which they felt they could use for their various weaves and things. And so the energy is coming from somewhere. The true power, for instance, is coming from the Dark One. We aren't necessarily aware what the true, or what the one power is, what the source is, but it's there. And so the law of conservation of energy is working because there is a source for this energy. It's not coming from just nowhere, but we're not sure exactly what the foundation of that is.
Is there a sink? That's the question.
Is there a sink? Yeah. Yes. Well, the things I've read make me think that Robert Jordan considered this, but it was not something that the characters were considering, and so it wasn't appropriate to include in the books. All right, we'll go right here.
all the different cultures have different prophecies regarding Rand. Are these from a common source, and is it evil?
The question is, there are a lot of different prophecies about Rand. Are they from a common source, and is it evil?
It seems to be like a great way to make an endgame happen, and are orchestrated from afar.
I will say that it is not that simple. And that's all that I will say. It is not that simple.
Who killed Asmodeus?
Who killed Asmodeus? Why do they always ask? Read and find out.
I mean, don't they understand we could tell them? But I think they want to live.
All right, one more question, and then everything else you can ask as you come along. All right, you in the back right there.
Why do you write?
Why do I write? For the same reason that most writers write. If I didn't, I would go crazy. I write compulsively. I don't know if you guys know, but I wrote 13 novels before I sold one. Book 6, Elantris, was the first one that sold, and I would still be writing at least one book a year, every year, even if I'd never been able to do this for a living. And so that's just the way that we writers think. We have to get stuff on the page. And I think Jim was the same way.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go over my little list of things.
Are you done? Yes. Thank you.
First off, a question that everyone asked that no one asked here, but someone will ask in the line, so to make the line move faster. The Outriggers and or the prequels, the answer is, we don't know. All right? Harriet's quote on this is a quote from Kenny Rogers. You've got to know when to hold them, you've got to know when to fold them, and you've got to know when to walk away. And she will decide when to walk away. No one wants to see the Wheel of Time become something like Star Wars or Star Trek. But we don't have an answer for you right now. So there you go. All right.